right. Frank talk continues with the Secretary General of the Contralesa, Zolani Mkiva. Right. I was fascinated that you raised the issue of justice system, right? One of the things that people are saying, whatever you may think of it, the Constitution says all of us are equal before the law, right? I was intrigued by the fact that you came here, right, a few months ago to argue that King Jalin Jebo must not be incarcerated purely because he's king. You're not arguing he's innocent. You're arguing because he's a king and he cannot just be treated like a commoner, etc. Right?
It's the contradiction of our justice system.
Yes.
Actually manifest with this case
of
His Majesty King Zwelibanzi Dalindyebo.
Yeah.
Because he was presiding over a case. Ne?
Okay.
So we're saying that you can't want to punish a judicial officer about something that happened in a particular court and using a different system, the African system, and then you charge him when he was doing something on duty.
Yeah.
You charge him in a different court. That's where we said that there was a travesty of justice there. So,
okay, are you saying that the things that he's accused of having done, rampant, disregard of the law, stealing of livestock, murder,
no.
none of that was true?
No, remember that the issue of murder was thrown out of the court papers. There was no stealing. It was arson and amongst other things that I think was...
kidnapping.
And kidnapping,
Which is quite serious.
Look, I'm not a judge.
No, understand. Understand. I don't expect you to declare him innocent or guilty. I'm just fascinated that your argument, unless it has changed.
When you read the law, you must not read the laws just one-sided. Remember that the South African Constitution also recognizes the institution of traditional leadership.
Yeah.
And therefore, on
but was he being accused of presiding over cases that have to do with those things, or was he being accused of having been involved or being an accomplice?
That flows from a case because he issued a verdict.
Yeah.
And a sentence.
Yeah.
And the people then who were implementing ones who actually did that. And
I see. So he was accused of having implemented illegal measures to try and remedy a situation.
Yes, yeah. In fact,
why didn't they just appeal?
Some of the people actually were implementing the sentence or went over the board in implementing it. You understand?
Yeah. So he must be released at this rate. You still argue as Contralesa that he must be released?
Yes, of course. Well, you see...
But it looks like your call fell on deaf ears because you failed to make that an ultimatum to the ANC. Once again...
AJ, jail is an instrument of coloniality. We are saying that...
were there no jails in Africa before the colonialists arrived?
No, we didn't have prisons here.
What did you do? How did we detain people?
Well, there was a detention within the royal household.
Yeah.
But we didn't have structures in the form of prison.
Of a prison.
So yes. But we're saying that given our history, Jay, the fact that our kings were thrown into all sorts of prisons, killed and beheaded and so on and so forth, it can be a post-colonial government that begins to jail a king on the basis of something that is questionable. So we're saying that if maybe he has been found on the wrong side of the laws, look at a special dispensation because he's a king to his people.
Yeah.
This notion that he is equal to his people is not true. He's a king to his people.
But, it's interesting that you have been, so far your cry to release him has been ignored. I don't know how long he's been in prison, right? Why did you not use that muscle to force the ANC to release him? Why didn't you use that muscle? You
How?
By telling them we're not going to vote for you, tell our people not to vote for you if you don't release our king. I mean, this is quite serious. It's not like they just arrested some common person. They arrested your king, you still went to vote for them.
Well, it's not a
power, and now you are surprised that your king is in prison.
No, it's not easy to do that. Remember that the ANC has invested many years into the families of South Africa.
Yeah.
To think that you're just going to dislodge it by just shouting and saying to people must not vote for it. It can't just be something that is done over a month.
But it does say that the ANC doesn't take traditional leadership seriously. Let's face it.
We believe in engaging the ANC leadership constructively. And we engaged the ANC leadership.
But so far you have failed because your king is still in prison.
Well, at least we've won the debate that they were wrong to take the king to jail. If the buck stops with them in the running of this country, it should never have happened that the king goes to jail in a post-colonial South Africa.
Yeah. Do you think that the whole issue of what I can call African leadership, right, has been devalued in the new South Africa?
Of course, we're a laughing stock in the entire African continent about this matter. We are the first country to jail a king in a post-colonial Africa. It's a curse for us, for our king to be there. Many things are not going to go right in this country as long as our king is there. And so we must shake this curse off by releasing the king as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And we have been making this humble appeal. We are saying that there are laws and there are pieces of legislation that allows government to be able to deal with that and give a king a pardon or something to that effect.
Yeah.
We've been making that plea. Kings were longer. He was in pain with this thing of King Dalindyebo being there. They are in the same age group.
Yeah.
They are very close. They are relatives. And it's one of the things that he was making an outcry about.
Yeah.
That he had made it his own struggle to ensure that the king gets. He was leading from the front insofar as this is concerned.
Has Contralesa taken up the issue of inequality amongst the kingdoms and how they are treated by the democratic state? Can you imagine for a minute that King Zwelithini was in prison? What would happen in this country? Just imagine that.
Well,
but the king of the Xhosas there is languishing in a prison and life goes on, his business as usual.
We are engaging. You see, let me start off by saying, JJ, the support that is given to His Majesty King Goodwill Zwelithini is a good thing.
Yes.
Yes. It ought to be commended.
Yeah.
And may the government of KZN in that province continue to do that and even do more.
Yes.
Because he's doing a lot for his people, King Goodwill Zwelithini. All we are saying is Contralesa. That good example from KZN must be extended
everywhere else. But you are still shouting on the sidelines about it. It's 25 years.
Look,
the king has been treated like a super king over all the others.
We don't have an approach of toy-toying as Contralesa in order for us to get things done.
What is your approach? Because it doesn't look like it's working.
Our approach, because this is a political issue, our approach is to engage the ruling party politically. But we have come to a point, JJ, which I am free to say here, that we've set a date now to say that if this does not get done, because legally we're going to challenge it. We think that it is illegal, it is also unconstitutional. Because we believe that we are a unitary state, and you can't see a situation where a premier from Limpopo is treated different from a premier from the Western Cape. No, from the Western Cape. Let's say from the Western Cape, which is run by a different. The same package given to there is the same that is given elsewhere.
Yes.
So I am saying that in our National Executive Committee meeting, the last one, we've taken a decision wherein we've communicated with government and say, do this. We don't prefer to deal with matters.
And this was unanimous. There were no people who were resisting it. Because they may have assumed you are targeting the Zulu king.
We are not litigious as Contralesa. We don't believe in litigating in order for things to be done. This is our last resort. That if by such and such a time this is not done, then we're going to approach the Constitutional Court and put a challenge in this. And we're saying that with effect from 1994, all the kings that did not have a budget, then they need to be paid. So the implications...
In the retrospect.
Yes. The implications become dire if we take a route that is legal. And yet, the route that we have always elected of engaging politically is helpful because you start correcting this now and say from now, hence, it's going to be like
but I'm surprised you're saying it's useful because it's 25 years. When did you start taking this matter up?
Well, we are the new leaders of Contralesa. We're only elected in December 2017. and we are only under 2 years in office. We are just about to finish our 2 years in office.
Yeah.
And in the last 24 months, these are some of the things that we have been grappling with. And I think in terms of what we have done thus far, we have shown through leadership in coming to the center of the levers of power, ensuring that we are part and parcel of the management of the national question.
So you are optimistic that the ANC will listen to you?
It is listening to us. We have a national task team with the ANC, which is chaired by deputy presidents, and the secretary generals are also there. So I'm there, the deputy president of Contralesa is there. We meet periodically to consider all these matters, to ensure that as part and parcel of processing these political matters, and consider reports and progress and so on and so forth. So I'm saying that I am confident that we will resolve these matters. I'm sure that we may not be forced to go to court in the final analysis. It's the first time that we speak like this to the ANC, that you leave us with no other option. If you can't solve a little thing like this, we are confident that the court will rule in our favor on this matter.
Absolutely. Do you think the House of Traditional Affairs, right, was used just to keep you quiet and happy, while in fact it has absolutely no legal standing from a point of view of a legislative authority?
Part of the things...
In other countries, there are various houses where it says once the law is in this house, before it's passed, it goes to another house. Even here, there's no law that can just pass without the NCOP.
And actually, without the National House of Traditional Leaders considering it. Any law that resonates with traditional communities will never be passed. It's not supposed to be. Not supposed to be passed without going through the National House.
But all the laws should...
Now, let me tell you something interesting with what you are saying, because you may not be aware. The National House of Traditional Leaders is supposed to be the third House of Parliament.
Why is it not?
It is being relegated to the background. It's part of the issues and the items in the agenda that we are engaging the ANC with. And we are saying that the basket of these issues, including that, because the members of the House are not full-time, we are saying that make that House to have teeth on these matters must not just be an advisory body. It's a third House of Parliament, and make that House give it a full-time status. Its members must have a full-time status, like members of the NCOP and members of the National Assembly. So that engagement is continuing. We are saying that that house must have its own chamber. It doesn't even have a chamber.
It doesn't have a chamber. You cut and paste into that green old assembly chamber of the apartheid people there. And, it's bad, man, how you are treated.
No, definitely we are not treated in a manner that
is befitting of the status of traditional.
The original institution of governance in this part of Africa. That's what we are. That's what the institution of traditional leadership is. Everything else, like I said from the beginning, these systems are inherited from coloniality, from the colonial powers. All these gestures that you see in Parliament and so on, they are not original. We have our own ways of doing these things. And I'm sure in the fullest of time, we will transform even the decorum of the Parliament and begin to Africanize it completely. The issue of the Ingonyama Trust, do you think that it sought to divide the traditional sector at all? Because it seemed like it was a fueling of this special treatment that the Zulu king was getting. In fact, he threatened to bring this whole place to a standstill if anybody touches the Ingonyama Trust. Created after apartheid, on the eve of democracy. It's not like it was there as an institution established by Shaka or something. It was established just now, in 94 by the Clark. Well, the law, it's the law that you're talking about. Otherwise, the land has always been under the stewardship of the king, even before that law was passed.
All right.
So we are saying, why chase lizards when crocodiles are basking in the sun? The land under the jurisdiction of King Goodwill Zwelithini is part of the 13%. Why do you want to divert the attention? Our interest is 87%.
All right, just hold that thought there as we're chasing lizards when crocodiles are against you. Let's take a break now.